Hey, Ramblers, before we kick off today's episode, thank you for even taking the time to listen to the podcast. We appreciate it. If you love the podcast, toss your 2 cents in using the hashtag Let's Ramble and make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest content and updates. Visit us at our new website at offsource.tech and make sure to follow us across all social platforms at Assistance HQ. Now let's ramble. And now, a moment from our sponsor. How am I an American conservative?
Because of your views, like your views on like poverty, what are your views on immigration? I guess that one would kind of make it or break it.
What do you mean? Let everyone in. I mean, I am the least like. I'm just like a everyone should be here kind of person. Like there's absolutely no reason why not. Everyone else came here on a boat. Like why can't these people come here too? Like.
Okay, I guess you can't be a conservative then. Well, I guess you could still be. You still have some conservative views, but I think if you're open to immigration, then you're not really like.
It's not even open. I don't feel like you people should be open to immigration. That's another human.
Well, I mean, I think it's reasonable to have an opinion on like.
How
many people can come in and stuff like that.
These people are not bothering you. They are just seeking another place to stay because their place was bombed. Like they're not bothering you.
And that's
trying
to come.
They are trying to come to work. They are trying to come like produce and do better. First of all, they're doing more than some people that here. Like you feel me? Like
facts. I 100% agree with you. I'm just acknowledging that I do think it's a reasonable perspective to say that like there should be some kind of limit. I'm not saying I don't think there should be a limit, but I'm saying that I think it's a legitimate political opinion that there should be some kind of limit. But then like where like conservatism in America goes beyond that is like they're like no one should come in ever. And that's like American conservatism. That's what I would call that. So like I will say definitively that you deviate from that standard significantly.
I mean, like I think it's because you feel like I feel like it's because you think that I should like put out because of how I feel about money and how I feel like black people specifically should really focus on coming together and saying screw the government and doing their own thing.
We should. No, I don't criticize that because I believe that also. That's why I'm spending my time on business instead of politics now. Like that's a shift I made like 2 years ago.
You feel me? I realized that young. I'm like, hey, listen. There's like, these people are paying the politicians, and this company's paying the politicians, and I'm like, bro, if I wanted to actually change something, what if I just was one of the companies that paid the politicians? Now, I don't really plan on paying politicians. Like, let me clear that up. But you feel me? Like,
yeah, you would if you were like this. If we end up going public and there's regulation.
I don't support. Well, because of my religious views, I don't support and believe in politics. Period.
You would be. I mean, it would just be in terms of like. Here's what I would say. You would be voted and removed as CEO if you said that we weren't going to be donating to politicians.
Bro, you can't. You know why?
You can't
remove me as CEO because
we were public, you'd be removed if we were public.
No, because here's the thing. Listen, you want to know why? Because if I tie myself to the brand so closely that because we're a social company, we do such good social works, and it's led by me. If the fear of the backlash that would ensue from firing me because of how wonderful I am and how much the people love me, because I am a CEO that gives, that actually does, and I'm going to say this, through the entire time, I have supported Kanye. I don't care. That man is building shelters now. I don't care what you say. I don't care. I closely align with darn near everything that man has said, like from jump. like all the way through. If you check my Twitter, I'm sure you've seen I
I would
support.
like to take this opportunity to specifically dissociate myself from that prior statement. I am not in any way affiliated with Kanye West or anything that he has ever done or produced after the college dropout. All right,
Listen,
go ahead.
because listen, it's if you understand like what he's like the route that he's taking, man, and I really hate to say it like this because I don't know if it's either cliche or stupid, but if you watch anime and you understand Itachi, like the entire series, it comes to
You
and it's
gotta
just like,
explain. I'm not familiar.
oh, okay. So, spoiler alert. If you are an anime person and you're just starting to watch like Naruto and stuff, I want you to know right now is a spoiler alert. So,
All right, I haven't
Itachi.
started yet.
Dang, it sounds really crazy. So, Itachi, in short, kills his entire village clan,
Okay. Why?
but doesn't kill his brother
Okay. Why?
because he wants his brother to grow strong enough to kill him.
Okay. Interesting.
Fast forward to the very end when his brother when his little brother Sasuke kills him, he tells him like the story on his deathbed type of thing. But
Okay.
essentially, they were all going to set up and kill the clan anyway, basically. And he was like, listen, like he was hiding the entire secrets of the village the entire time, and he really just took the heat for everything. He really he just did some dirt and is like, listen, I'm gonna take the heat for it. You guys are gonna all hate me. Everyone's gonna know me as like a villain and everything. But in the end, it's because like I really did it to protect the entire village. And like it's apps like I'm missing a lot because like but
I'm understanding what you're getting at, though. So you're essentially saying Kanye's falling under the train to try to, like, in a weird way, somehow help Black people.
he is 100. He is already how. What do you mean? Like I I I think just the like I would feel like there has to be some form of influence on the fact that it is undoubtedly we laugh at Kim Kardashian, but she has actually done some social justice in getting these people out of jail. We laugh at it and make jokes of it, but
Those
these
people are hella
people,
happy to be out of prison.
yeah, like those people are extremely happy to be out of prison. And like their families are happy. And the fact that it's exposing other things and she's bringing light to it is we're laughing because it's Kim Kardashian, but it's nonetheless still being done that what's good. So would you like taking the brunt? Like I would say, like I think there has to be some form of influence involved for of Kanye for that to be happening. And now that he's doing shelters in this gap conversation, yes, there's a money play involved, but what is he planning to do with this money? Now it's taking what he had, which was high maintenance Yeezys, and making it now affordable. Like this, he is a visionary.
I
And
don't
to
discount
say,
Kanye's, like, thing as a businessman, an entrepreneur, and Black man and, like, cultural icon. Like, I'm totally fine with literally everything he has done up until the political arena. Like, and
listen,
that's where I think that he's
I'm
being kind of reckless and irresponsible.
listen. What politically irresponsibly has he done? He's has supported Trump. I disagree with the supporting of Trump. However, for the reason of like in this, like in how we mentioned in the song, he trying to make it so it's like how they were trying to take how white people say, oh, well, they just let everybody say N-word, where if it, because it was a sign of disrespect. So if we took it as we're not going to be disrespected by it, you can't hurt us with it. It can like we're offended by the hat right now. So what if it's no longer offensive to us?
I'm offended still.
because it clearly didn't catch on. However, it didn't catch on, and it caught on with the people that he really needs to use on his side to make a change. So when if social certain things need to be done, guess who's on his side? The ones that are actually making the change. So just like when we talk about people buying these politicians, we can essentially say he's in a social or a popularistic aspect by social capital. That's the word I'm looking for. By social capital, he has pulled the strings of these people.
I think you could argue that, and I think that's fair. I don't know. I definitely think that being in the White House with a white nationalist and saying slavery like for 300-400 years, that sounds like a choice.
Okay, now
I feel
listen, you
like
have to understand
that's
where he was.
arguably
Listen,
one of the most
no.
irresponsible things anyone's ever said.
I understand what you're saying, that it's irresponsible to say, but isn't that you have to really listen to how he explained himself, because you have to listen to this. Harriet Tubman freed not one, not two, but hundreds of slaves, multiple times back and forth. How come everybody didn't? What was the difference? What was her difference? Was she just too fed up? That this is where we get the black woman is really has been leading us for a pretty freaking long time. They're outnumbering us in businesses and college growth.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of also a political decision though. Like we decide to funnel like people into jails instead of schools. And like while black women are like obviously like disproportionately targeted by policing and like the prison industrial complex, like the way black men have been shipped into prisons over the last 3-4 decades is like unprecedented in the modern world.
Completely, and I agree. But what are we doing to try and change that?
I mean, we can do stuff, and I mean, I don't know, man. Like, this is why I've started stepping away from politics, because it's just like
too much.
Living constantly in reality just makes you really bitter and cynical, and it's just like it's just a little more fun in La La Land. Like,
you know what? You don't want to know why I chose business, and I think I like in my 3-dimensional worlds, I either would have been a lawyer, a coder, or doing business. You know what I think what I like best about business is because I've realized in business, as a giver, if you want to give, business is the best way to give. There is no strings attached. I don't have to have anyone question me. I can do exactly what I want. What politicians take months and years to do, I can do at the snap of my fingers. That's why.
Right.
And
the problem with having a system that works that way is the overwhelming majority of people who have the wealth to be able to hold that power are like the most selfish, cynical, and awful people of the society.
Which really sucks, but I'm not one of those people, which is why I'm like, yo, listen, if I want, I can like it. Like people try to make a change. People are like, yo, I'm like people. I grew up thinking like people grow up like, yo, I want to make a change, and they're like, they become a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher. They're like, I want to make a change, and they were like become like a politician and things. They want to like make a change. They want to do like making a police thing. I'm like, yo, what if I think I could do the most change by running a business and putting money in people's pocket. Like if I could put money into the black people's pocket, I think that would do the most out of everybody. I'm like, yo, why is that not like the goal thing? Like everyone wants to make a change doing all this stuff. I'm like, yo, if we just gave them jobs that paid well, because as a black person, we know we need to be paid well, which is as a virtual assistant, we are now able to pay well, and you can work from home because we understand the dynamics of a black home. Like that is the best way to give back. Because guess what? I'm going to have to obviously probably edit this. Maybe not. But we can just hire black. Like it's like I mean I may not post. I definitely can't post this part because if I get big enough, they'll dig for this. But we can hire just black people. And here's the thing: I'll be like, let's make it a trend. I'll be the first black person to go to jail for discriminating against white people. Like,
I ain't going to jail.
you ever heard that in the news? Company billionaires caught discriminating against white people. I think they would try to kill me before they let that happen. Listen, I have to really not speak something. Oh my God, I said something like that, and I can't. Like now, I will never probably forget this. And if I get big and everything, oh my God, that's so scary.
Everybody's got those like 2 to 3 things that they just like have to pray don't come out if they ever blow up.
Like that's so scary, bro. Like I just wait, hold on. But I spoke it. Like I just feel like I spoke that into existence. Like I'm gonna get big, and then
just make sure you have the money and accounts, and it can't be taken back. Like you can take the canceling, just make sure you keep the money.
No, bro. As a black person with money, they don't cancel you. They don't because they know that they're like you have money. Who cares if they cancel you? They know that. They Bill Cosby you.
What's that?
I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a conspiracy. I'm just going to like say like in that if it was because I don't believe it was. However, there are conspiracies that it was a conspiracy. And I just like to read conspiracies for fun. So listen, if it was a setup, that is complete.
How do you set someone up for multiple decades, bro?
Yo, listen. If there wasn't a real Illuminati, would you not think that they would just be building it? They're just like, listen, we're waiting for the right time to. If something happens, like think about it. They're like just like they'd be holding on to a secret like this release right here to cancel me. Would they not be trying to find a way? Okay, we cancel him, but he has money. Now we need to find a way.
Okay, I'm curious. I have one question. Did he, in the conspiracy, did he do it and they have evidence to hold it over him? Or did he not do it and they were accumulating fake evidence?
They were coercing. Listen, I'm not going to get into it.
I'm just genuinely curious. Like, it's not you saying it. I'm asking you to tell me about the conspiracy.
All right. So basically, it's like a stack of all this evidence has been like being mounted against him against all of these years for when black people try to make a big move. Like it's like whenever a black person is about to do something socially positive for black people that they are taken down. So all I'm saying is,
I mean, the FBI actually did that. It's called COINTELPRO. So that's not like really even a conspiracy. But I think that like two things can be true. Like this nigga can be a serial rapist and they probably did keep that shit for a convenient time.
So a part of this, there we go. Part of that was it was like, even if he did do it, they waited till the perfect time to let it go.
Yeah, that aspect of it, I feel like is almost undeniable. Like, because like the way news organizations and like the government intermingle and intersect, they're kind of like one entity at this point in America. Like those things are usually coordinated.
See, that's what I mean. That's why I'm like, Kanye is taking a huge brunt. Do you know how dangerous that is?
But what is he doing that's dangerous specifically?
Okay, I don't think it's a coincidence that he says I'm going to run for president, even if he doesn't. Just saying that, and then all of a sudden now his Yeezy shelter is being built. What's going on, Ramblers? I don't mean to interrupt today's podcast, but we have a quick mid-roll from our sponsors.
Well, what does that do?
I'm just saying, I feel like it's an early sign. Listen, I'm actually gonna make change. Like all these other people were talking, I'm walking. Listen,
But if he was actually walking, what he would do is just do like this is genuinely like my advice to anybody. Like if you want to make a genuine difference and you have a lot of money, here's how you do it. You literally go to black neighborhoods and you start handing people $20 bills every single day in every black neighborhood that you go to.
get
That
the
is the number one best way that you
no.
can help
That
everybody,
is
the
the
most black people.
terrible way. That is terrible. Terrible. That is terrible. That is the handing. Oh my God! What?
Redistributing wealth back to black people that's been like systematically taken from them.
By giving them
Like,
$20, $20,
yeah, because it
$20.
if you had $20, wouldn't
No,
you buy something with it that you would like?
no.
Or if you're already saving money and you have a budget
Bro, twenty
and you
dollars
get
isn't
20
gonna do
extra
anything
dollars,
generationally, bro. I promise you, doing $20 is not gonna do. Like, listen, okay, this is what I want to put. This is my grand idea for changing the black communities. Listen, with as a billionaire, like this is on a because Kanye's a billionaire, and this is who we were just talking about, right? So as a billionaire, we can insert actual program, like not necessarily programs, but build like financial literacy, teaching the community about what needs to be taught in real life ourselves. So hey, this is how you get a loan. Like it would be a complete after school like all of what those the YMCA and the after school boys programs and everything what they were meant to be. Imagine like a super version of it. Like and not only can it be an after school thing for kids, you're also able to go and learn how to get a job. It's teaching kids, it's teaching like grown-ups skills. So you can go there and you can learn a computer class and learn how to type. So now you can learn to get better jobs. You can get the actual jobs where these skills actually matter. Like, because here's the thing, like they only require you, they only require you because that's how they want to divide it. But you don't need a degree to be an accountant. They only require it because that's what they say they require. You can say, we don't require you to have a degree to be our accountant. Now, obviously, you need to have a degree to be a CPA, but to be a regular accountant and most bookkeepers and everything, and a bookkeeper and everything, go to class, get a class, do a certificate. So these, I guess like building big buildings and programs and everything would be teaching adult skills, helping and being able to be used as a daycare for single parents, to be for after school, before school, or say they're very young, you can do it during your work period and work hours. It would be a 24 hours, 24/7 daycare because you listen. Some people work the night shift, and you're like, how are you going to get a babysitter? So you need the night, so 24-hour babysitter service. Like hand out free food, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can like get a tray because food is important. Like it would be an actual center that can create generational wealth because now you can go and learn. And here's the thing. After you have these skills, we can go help you apply for these better jobs. And as black people that have come out of the program and everything, like our own accelerator programs, we can hire black. So now that these people have the skills, now they have somewhere to go to use those skills and work because that's what makes them, now they've learned a skill that makes them happy and they can go get a good paying job because that's a good paying job skill and they're not going to get denied and have to deal with as much competition. And as the barrier company to break out and say, hey, listen, we are not going to require a college degree, but we are going to test you on the knowledge and merit of what you actually can do, now means that other company we can recruit the top talent, and it's only a matter of time before the other upcoming companies match our business or recruiting model to get top talent for their company. Hey, this is how, oh snap, that's how they got top talent and they didn't have to pay for it like that. They pay for it well, but it's like that's the secret. It's only a matter of time before other companies start adopting that, and now it's starting to open up a market of change. Disrupt the market. That's my plan of disrupt. Fuel
right?
black.
It's a good plan, like for your individual life, and like it would impact and help a whole lot of people. But the thing is that the community center you described, like it's obviously like a souped up version, But those are all things that like the government used to do for people. Like the government used to allow people to go to
I
state
understand that.
universities,
That's fine.
and
That's
the government used to like feed people, and it used to provide affordable housing, and it used to have a lot of state jobs. Like that's where most black people started to get hired, is like state jobs working for the government. Like my grandfather was a postal worker. So like the thing is, systematically they've taken the money out of the government because that was like the only place where like black people really didn't face racism and they were really able to get a foothold at first. So then, and that's also where black people were able to get resources and funds because of like the economic situation that they were born into. So like when they've taken that money out of that and then given it to rich people, the things that they do with it aren't this, because like rich people just have
so
different
what?
priorities.
So
And that
what?
includes rich black people. So
So what?
getting more rich black people can't be the overall solution. Like it would have to be the government for us to get enough money
It's
together to
not.
get all
It's
black
not going to
people
be
what
the
they
government. It's
deserve.
not going to be the government because that's not going to happen. There's a better chance of me getting together a bunch of black people to say, listen, let's. I will give you guys. We are going to get a bunch of tax donations for donating a bunch of money, and I'm going to run the program, and I can get a bunch done. Like,
Right. But
if you
don't you
if
think
we
people are pitching those kinds of projects to them if they can even get a meeting?
not billionaires,
I mean, but like,
other rich people aren't necessarily pitching this. So as another rich person saying, hey, listen, I can get you guys a bunch of whole tax dollars. I've already commuted 5 million, 10 million to the fund. Donate whatever you guys would like. You get a tax deduction for it. It looks good. You can say you donated. And here's the thing. I actually have the backing to do basically anything. I can literally produce a lot of, like, bro, do you know how much like change only one company actually can do? Like, bro, a company big as Coca-Cola can change a lot. Change the world. I think there's a lot that would not happen without Coca-Cola.
right, like the water tables in Central America still existed.
Yeah. But listen, if they can do, if a company can do that level of bad, imagine a company that would wants to do a level of good.
Well, the thing is that the financial pressures and incentives on a for-profit business almost demand bad behavior in terms of the requirement of like 2-3% growth quarterly for your stock performance to not be like held against you.
No,
So I guess in a note,
don't be an IPO. Don't go IPO then. Don't go IPO and be a shareholder. Because here's the thing. If you're a private company and you own most of the money, for example, I do not believe Sally Mae, or no, I said Sally, Fannie Mae. There is a large public mortgage company that is not publicly traded. And like, anyway, I can't think of the name right now. All that needs to happen is a rich person out of his own personal pocket making $200 million a year just needs to be like, hey, listen, man, bro, I'm making 200 million. I've been making 200. Like, listen, I can do $50 million a year and not affect my lifestyle and do a lot with 50 million, bro. If someone who was making $200 million a year did $50 million a year in social work, like, how much do you think that person would do over 10 years? $500 million over 10 years?
I mean, I think one thing that I'm kind of curious about in terms of like I understand like for you personally, you're going to do it like in an efficient way. But the thing is, there's already like $1 trillion in philanthropy every single year that does nothing to affect any of like the social problems that we're talking about.
Because people don't really do, because people don't care. People are doing philanthropy because they just want to say they do philanthropy. I'm not talking about doing philanthropy. I can't stay like people want to make a change and don't really. They'll be like, "Oh, let's find a cure for cancer." Well, there's also people starving, man. Right in your like, you're like, let's go feed Africa. Okay, well, what about the people in Detroit? Like, right around the corner in Los Angeles from you. You know. What
Well, there's
about
people
them?
that do food banks in all those places.
It's the difference. Like, I'm not talking about like a food bank, man. I'm talking about like a full transformation of these people. Like, these homeless people don't need just food. Hey, bro, come on in. We'll get you a shower, some clothes, and now let's get you some skills. If you're addicted or anything, let's get you cleaned up. Like, let's get you fully.
That all costs a lot of money, and like the government used to do that, but then they like gutted the budget for that so that
Bro,
like
with
we
$50
could
million
drop
a year,
bombs.
how okay, this is gonna sound so wild and brazen, but I have to say it brazenly. How many homeless people do you think I can help rehab for $50 million in a year?
I think that there's probably some like numbers out there, but like probably not as many as you think.
Bro, if how much do you think it costs to rehab a person?
Um,
Because if we start with
I would
getting
think it'd have to be at least $100,000 at minimum.
okay, what do you mean? Because if we focus on just the rehab,
I
which
mean, housing, medication, doctors, whatever kind of like therapy, like homeless people have a whole lot of health ailments because they don't have access to health care, and like dental stuff, like their teeth because they can't brush consistently. Like there's a lot of costs associated with like having been unhoused.
we help you get on your feet. So like, yeah, you're gonna like we like we can't. It's like a boost up. So we get you rehab. So it's like, okay, you're no longer addicted. We get you a skill. We get you some health. We get you in a state of being able to get some health care and everything. And hook you up with a job. Just like kind of like if we take it and say, okay, if we take it and literally just focus on each section, okay, how inexpensively, because if we can think about how to get everything else inexpensive, let's focus on how inexpensive it takes to rehab somebody. Because at current right now, it's the jail system. And if there have
Which we're spending like close to like that 100,000 a year on these people in that system. That's why like I would use that number just as a starting point because we already have that number. Like it's in the government. We're just choosing to give it to private prison companies instead of to centers like this.
so if we change, I think that's what we should do. We should change the private prison system as well. Buy a jail and completely change how we do everything in there.
Definitely not.
What?
That's there's no solution to black people being too much in prison that involves owning a prison and having more black people in it.
We're not still talking about having more black people in it. Because here's the thing, the goal isn't to the goal isn't to have black people come into it. The goal is to basically get black people from other prisons in not good situations and put them in this other place in a good situation and then get them out the earliest possible release parole. Because these other because we have now the ability to release you on parole and everything. Let's get these people out.
I don't know if it works exactly that way.
I'm sure that it doesn't. And I'm missing a bunch of chunks, but listen, it's a work in progress right now. Like I got the.
There's not a whole lot of things. I don't know if I've ever just like you've ever said an idea and I was just like, no, definitively not doing that. Never, not at all, not on the table. This is literally the first time. Like owning a prison, definitely not a good idea. Like just like
I
should
feel
not do
I feel like prison.
that.
I feel like there should be someone needs to take the brunt force and hit and disrupt the prison system.
I mean,
Like like, and even take out the term prison and make it like a complete, like a rehabilitation. Like, hey,
That's
listen,
already what they
like
call it.
like a, because listen, it make it like a luxury timeout, if you will, like a luxury timeout. Like honestly, make it like the white collar camps, if you will, like where there's like they're playing tennis and they're in jail and everything. It's like you get like good food. It's like, what do you do? It's like you're just. It's like a not. We're not gonna call it a resort, but you feel me?
Well, how are you going to do it profitably to where you can get people to invest in it?
Just take people that want to do social work. Hey, listen, do you want to make a real change? I'm making real change. Look at this. I am. This is real change. Like what is a problem that we are facing? The prison system.
Too many black people in prison. Like,
yes, too many black people in prison. So let's
and creating more prisons creates a vacuum where then there are more prisoners.
Taking the term prison out and making it a rehab center, and let's buy out prison people. Let's buy out the other prisons. Let's not even make new ones. Let's just make the fund and then buy other prisons. And because those ones are already,
but they're just going to make new prisons under different names.
But we'll change the weight. We'll change it to being a rehab center, so it's not
like somebody who owns a private prison will sell it to you, and you can do whatever you want, and they'll just open a different one. Like,
I don't think they're gonna go just open it. I don't think they're gonna be like, yeah, okay, I sold this one. I'm gonna go get another one. I think they'll probably move on to something.
Why would they not? If you're willing to give them $50 million, and then they can just go open up a new one to get all their old people back and make their money like they're just doing.
Because they can't get their old people back. Because now. Listen, man, I'm gonna redact this part too, but I'm gonna have to put judges in my pocket probably. Listen, I'm not right. This is like, what do you think? You think they're always fighting fair? Be like, you listen, I'm sorry. Like, I'm like,
I don't know, man. You're just describing some stuff that like seems a whole lot more difficult than like
it is very
a
difficult.
bunch of people just giving up
listen.
all their money.
It's a lot more difficult than the people giving up their money. Very much so. However, I did a podcast that said if you have a lifelong dream that seems impossible, do that. You know why? Because if you can reach it to a point that makes it seem possible, even for someone else, that's a reason to do it. Because listen, I'm living my life and doing what I love anyway, and I'm helping my people. So if it doesn't seem possible, like there was some like Harriet, like there were people around Harriet Tubman that was like, yo, I will never be not free. I will always be a slave. And then Harriet Tubman was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not about to like think like that. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to be a slave. Nah. And then she was selfless enough to be like, neither are you. This is what we about to do. Boom, 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 boom. We out of here. And then she's like, you know what? That's not enough. There's other people. Like, they deserve an opportunity too.
I think Harriet Tubman's a great example because like she was amazing and incredible, but like it was only so many people. And I think like despite how incredible and amazing it was, that just shows the limitations of like relying on individual people to solve systemic problems.
Because here's the thing, all the government is a bunch of individual people coming together to solve a bunch of problems. So
but it's also like a system that has been set in place and perpetuates itself in a way that is not really the choice of the overwhelming majority of the individuals that it requires to function.
So guess where we should change? Guess where we should pivot to? Private. What's freak? I cannot remember the word. It's been a while since I've been in school. I can't remember the word. It's like private positions. It's like the private where we provide the services and goods for our people instead of like waiting on the government to do it. The private people. I'm 100% for us doing for us.
And I'm good with that. And you know, I got some ideas about like how that can scale up and do a little bit more. But it's kind of like what we were talking about the other day, like the ways that like white people built wealth and like generationally were able to like acquire like homes and equity and
Yes.
inheritance and stuff like that
So
was through government programs.
So let's make programs, private programs. Like clearly we see the structure that was done. So let's do that. And it can clearly be done if a bunch of people can get together and do philanthropy and donate hundreds of $1,000,000 a year for change, and nothing really be done. So what if I can't get $100 million and actually do something good? Like, bro, Harriet Tubman saved $100,000 you said per person, right? $100,000. If I had 100 million people, I don't feel like doing that in my head right now. That's big. Bye. 1,000 people. So if for every 100 million, you can get 1,000 people. So
right, I think there's something like 3 million homeless people, just homeless people.
So if we rerouted the money over the course of 20, focus on black people first. Let's focus on black homeless people first. You know, not being discriminatory, but that's really why we're doing this. Because we're trying to advance black people. So let's focus on black homeless people. There's only 44 million of us. All of us don't need to be in this 1,000. So we can take the amount of people that are and really do a lot. I think over the course, if there was a fund that did $500 million a year, that's 5,000 black people per year over the course of, by the time, let's say I'm able to do this, I'm 40. I get like Congress old, just like Congress old people. I live to be 90 years old, so that's 50 years. So that's 50,000. Yeah, because 5,000 in a year times 50 years. Yeah. 250,000. 250,000 families over the course of my life. If I start at the age of 40, lived in
right, which is a ton. That's so many. Like if you were able to accomplish that in your life, that would be an incredible life lived. But it would also be like 0.001% of all black people.
But how many families? Like it's more than just. That's literally rehabbed. That's rehab people, not counting all the other people that have needed the boost that are now able to give back.
So out of 250,000, 1% of them get rich enough to donate 50,000 a year.
No, I'm not talking about the 250,000 is what I go around collecting from a bucket saying, hey, listen, I'm going to go help people. That's not counting what I do when I do like my helping people that are just regular, that don't need to be necessarily rehab. They just need like a little bit of help. Oh, hey, listen, I can get you a skill, and what goes into helping you get a new skill, because that's way cheaper than actually rehabbing a person. Hey, listen.
Well, most people don't really need a skill. Most people need housing and to be paid more for the work they're already doing.
Most of the work that they're doing, because the work that they're doing isn't a higher paying job. So
right, but that work is like still necessary. Because people have to work at restaurants and grocery stores. So there needs to be a functional solution for how people who make that amount are going to live. And the solution can't be get a different job, because there's a finite amount of different jobs, and there's also a specific need.
You talk about paying waitresses a lot of money. You're bugging.
If we want to eat at restaurants,
you're bugging. What?
If we,
What, bro? Man, I hate going to fast, bro. You really are you serious? Are you
well, do you want the
serious?
service to exist?
Hey Ramblers, before you go, make sure you're following us on social media at Assistance HQ across the board for all content and exclusives. And for an even more personal touch, subscribe to our weekly newsletter with the link in the description.